Hello and happy early Halloween. We are going to be talking about in the US, we celebrate Halloween on October 31st. I know a lot of my followers may not due to being in other countries. That's okay. We're going to talk this week about some tips to celebrate Halloween and stay with our goals. So I used to gain 10 to 20 pounds from the time Halloween happened till the new year. That was not unheard of for me. It would start with Halloween and overindulgence and gorging on candy. Then I would just leave the candy at the house, continue to eat it. And then of course November's Thanksgiving and then continue into the holidays. Like literally for 60 days, it was pretty much a nonstop weight gain fest. So there are some things that I have learned to do to make myself successful at the holidays. And it starts with Halloween. So the first thing I'm going to recommend you do, tip number 1, buy candy or things to give out that you don't love or care about. So for example, believe it or not, on the spectrum of candy, there were some candies I didn't care for. Typically nothing that involved chocolate or caramel or peanut butter. So like I might get things like those little Dum-Dums pops and things like that. Or you could of course do things that are totally non-food based, right? Pencils, rings, things like that. So that would be step number 1. Step number 2, if you can go out that night and walk around with kids or help, get some physical activity, that's another wonderful way to get yourself away from the house and handing out candy. So a lot of you might be saying, but we've always handed out candy and somebody needs to stay back at the house. So as a family, one thing that we've learned to do is take a big bowl, put it on a table and just say, please take one and put it out and let happen what happens, right? So when I come home, strangely, the bowl is always empty. And I didn't have to be stuck at the house handing out candy that I maybe would have eaten. So I did the responsibility of putting the candy out. I went physically and got some activity. And when I come home, there's no leftover candy for me to possibly eat. So then the question becomes, what about your kids' candy? Dun, dun, dun. It exists. It lives in your dwelling. And of course you want some. So what we do as a family is I let the kids pick enough candy to where they could have one each day for 1 to 2 weeks. So up to 14 candies. We pick like 14 candies that they love. They put it in a special container for themselves. The rest of it, we donate. We get rid of. Now, a lot of areas have dentist programs where they'll buy back candy. You'll want to research that online and see if they have it in your area. Oftentimes they will take the leftover candy and ship it to troops overseas. That's another program that's available. Of course, a lot of your elderly care or people who work in offices or even your children's orphanages and things of that nature in your area will gladly take it and they will use it. So there's a lot of places you can get rid of the extra candy. I've even heard some people saving it, freezing it, and then using it to make their baked goods for Christmas. And so if you maybe don't have binge eating tendencies and if you can control yourself with that being frozen in the freezer, that's another option, making your baked goods for Christmas out of it. But that way there is a sense of limitation. Now, my children are younger. I have heard with teenagers, a lot of parents will ask them, please go hide your stash in your room somewhere where I'm not going to be tempted to eat it. Then what I do for myself personally is I set a limit for myself. I've learned not to tell myself I can't have it. If I say, no, Heather, you're not going to have candy, guess what? I want to rebel against that. So I will make an agreement with myself. Heather, you can pick your favorite 3 fun size bars that are yours to eat out of your kids' stash. That's one from each of their bags. However it is I negotiated that year. And then those are mine. I get to eat them and enjoy them. And then that's the end of it. I try and have Halloween end on Halloween now. I try not to leave the candy around. And I know that can be difficult if you go to work. I would say maybe ask if the candy bowl that they leave out could be put somewhere that's not right in the mainstream of traffic, possibly in, a cabinet somewhere or out of the way, like in a break room where it's not like right in the main thoroughfare or something like that. So these are some tips to help get you started. 1, don't buy anything that you totally love and are going to want to eat. Maybe buy some non-food products to hand out. Go walking and get out of the house and leave the bowl out. It's going to be gone when you get home. Just accept that. Take the kids' candy if they're younger and maybe decide how much they're going to get to keep and get rid of the rest, whether it be donating it or giving it away or freezing it for, say, your holiday baking later in December. And then focus on you sending a limit for yourself that you get to enjoy on the day of Halloween, and let yourself enjoy it. You guys have a great day. I'll be back later with a few more Halloween tips later this week. All right, bye.